If you just clicked into this video, stay tuned for just a second. I promise this is going to add value to your life. This video is going to be extremely beneficial. Now, I've got this series called the BONECAST series, and it's my podcast series of videos here on the channel. I really am just kind of starting it. And because of the thumbnail or the title or whatever, I think not a lot of people are initially getting their attention grabbed to a big extent. And so that's why I'm saying this right now. Because if you're just tuning into this video, you really got lucky. Because the way that the algorithm works on YouTube, you've got to have all this kind of crazy stuff to grab people's attention. Then they get to the video and maybe it's okay, and maybe they stay, and then YouTube promotes it to more people. Well, in this case, I'm not going to start by selling you anything crazy or, no crazy thumbnail or anything like that. Just truth. And it's going to be the opposite, because once you get into this video and this series, the BONECAST podcast series, you're going to start realizing that this is pure gold, all right? I'm giving this to you free of charge. This is knowledge that's really, you can't buy this type of knowledge. This is experience-based knowledge that I'm sharing with you guys through my incredibly unique and crazy life experiences in a way that will add value to every single person that watches this video with an open mind and an ability to learn. Today, I'm going to teach you how to navigate life's storms. What does that mean? Navigating the difficulties of life. We always seem to be at our best when things are going good. Everything finally seems to be working out, finally starting to get a little bit of momentum, getting ahead, and then boom, out of the blue, something crazy happens. It stresses us out. It bothers us. Some of us, it makes us want to give up. Some of us, it makes us want to do things that we shouldn't do, get into old vices, make bad decisions, whatever it is. And we, think that, oh man, the universe is conspiring against me, or, I can't get ahead. Everything bad keeps happening. So I'm going to walk you through the process of how to navigate life's storms and be successful amidst extreme difficulties, no matter how bad you have it or how bad things get or what craziness happens to you. We'll walk you through the process and talk you through step by step of how to be successful in life's most difficult moments. I'm going to give a cool analogy for this because just yesterday here in Florida where I'm at, a massive tropical storm came through, and it's actually coming through right now, still, big tropical storm. And I decided to take the boat out, and I went boating, and I'll probably throw some footage up here, and excuse if it's not really great footage. It was, you could see from the footage, hopefully, that there is a storm on the horizon, and I was very far from home, and got out there, and I knew there was a storm coming, of course, because I have experience, but I also knew that same experience that I've had with storms in the past told me that everything I needed to know about that storm. I checked the radar. I saw that there was a little slip in the radar. I wanted to get out to an island where I could really quickly go in and just enjoy this beautiful view with old fort and, 100-year history. There's nobody else on the island, and it was just an amazing experience, great opportunity. And then, of course, just testing my abilities and keeping in practice to be able to find a place to secure the boat with massive seas near the beach and navigating, going around those storms, practicing all of the skills. So I'm going to take that and use it as an analogy to explain how this physical situation can also apply to all of the problems that we have in life. And the most important thing I would say, so thank you for staying tuned this long in the video, and the most important thing is don't panic. The biggest rule. I'm not going to say it's the first thing to do, because remember I said I checked the radar. What does that mean? That means that I had a little pre-planning. So it's always good to plan and to educate yourself, right? Stay involved with educational stuff, be learning, look at life as being a student of life. So when those storms do come, you're better prepared. But that's something that you need to just do grinding every day. Learn a little bit more every day. Read a book, study something, take a class, whatever it is. That is long term. And so that you need to be doing that all the time. What can I do? Boom. You say, Bone, I looked at this BONECAST because I'm in a storm in my life right now. I'm going through a super difficult time. Okay. So you've got to be doing that for future storms. But this storm that you're in right now in life, what you've got to do right now is don't panic. So the biggest thing is don't panic. And what does that mean? That means don't worry. Don't let your mind and comment below if you've been guilty of this, because if we're being honest, we all have. Don't let your mind start telling you all of the things that could go wrong and the fear creep in. That's what you don't want to do. Okay? I was out there in the boat. I had checked the radar. I knew that I could jet out to this island. It was very intense the way that I had to position the boat. 2 anchors would not hold the boat where it was positioned. So I found I knew what the wind was doing. I knew what the wind was going to do, what the waves were doing. There were some old concrete pylons from an old bridge that was no longer in use. So I positioned the boat in a certain way. I had to get the boat very dangerously close to these pylons, toss a line, lasso one of the pylons, let a certain amount of line out, right? Get the boat between the pylon and the beach so the waves were coming to the bow of the boat. And then I had 2 anchors on the boat, which I tested that first. They would not hold the boat. There was just so much wind and waves, extreme weather. Tossed an anchor off either side, bow and stern, to keep the lateral movement, and then had that line onto a concrete pylon. So that was what I had to do. And I knew that there was a bigger storm on the way. When I checked the radar, I saw there was 2 bands. One band had just passed, so we went out. It was beautiful. And then we had enough time, I knew, to get out there, enjoy the view, get back to the boat, and then try to get back into the river, right? Because you don't want to be in the high seas. Well, we were racing the storm. We saw the storm coming in as we were going back, and the waves were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And in my thought, in my mind is saying, you do not want to be in the open bay when this storm hits, because the boat's going to capsize. And so what happened? A little bit of fear tinged. I'm an experienced sailor, I guess you could say, right? I'm experienced on the water. And when those waves start crashing over the bow, when I had to make a decision. And fear told me, you got to get out of here. These waves are getting worse and worse. You got to get into the river at all costs. Go faster and just try and do it. And experience and knowledge taught me that there's not a wave I can't handle if I'm in my zone. Okay? I'm adjusting the trim tabs to where they need to be. I'm adjusting the height of the motor to where it needs to be. And now I'm finding and analyzing each and every single wave, because the waves are so big now that I have to analyze each and every wave. And I get to ride the wave, get to a certain point, and then follow this wave. Ride it up, ride it down. Ride it up, ride it down. Each wave, I know where I'm going. Then the storm rolls in, and it's so heavy, so thick, that I can't see 6 feet in front of the boat. It's not 6 feet in front of the boat. Sideways, blinding rain. I'm riding, and what my gut and fear told me to do, just gun it and try and go, and I would have lost the boat. So here I am, and I'm riding up and down each and every wave, and I have to be concentrating, and I cannot let fear and worry tell me what's going to happen if the storm continues to get worse. No, I have to put myself in the zone. I'm looking. I can't say to myself, I wanted to creep in and say, what happens if the GPS goes out? Well, there's a compass right there. Do you know where you're at? Do you really know where you're at? Yes, I do. Right? If I would have let that fear creep in, I would have been done. So in life, how do we apply that to life? We apply that to life because when you get that bad news, when you're threatened, when your family's threatened, when your finances are threatened, when you get that evil creeping in, when you get that negativity, with that negative voice in your mind that says you're not going to make it, you need to just run, you need to do this, that, or the other, immediately challenge based off of your experience what you're hearing. Now, let me tell you the biggest advice you'll get as a man, as a businessman, as a woman, businesswoman. Just biggest advice you'll get in this video is, and this, my father gave me this advice. Very intelligent man, and has really helped me a lot through my life. And I'm blessed to have had a great dad as an example. Very strong man of faith. And he always told me, son, always trust your gut. I would ask him advice, and my dad is very good with being able to give advice with very few words. He doesn't talk very much. When he says something, everybody listens because it has meaning. So always trust your gut. Now, a lot of people don't really realize what that means. That doesn't mean trust the fear voice. There's also a little voice inside you telling you, run, you're going to die, this isn't going to work, crawl into the fetal position and cover up, depending on who you are, whatever your weakness is or whatever you're susceptible to, there's that voice inside telling you, then that's not your gut. So the first thing you really need to do is learn to differentiate between your gut and your first instinct, because you don't follow your first. If your first instinct is to run, challenge that. If your first instinct is to fight, challenge that. Trust your gut instinct, which is based off of your experience. Excuse the little jump cut there. National Weather Service extreme weather advisements were just going on all over the place. Had to make a cut and resume the video after we got all that straightened out. Very apt that would happen right now in this video. But, surviving life storms, what we can take from up to this point is it's important to understand the difference between your first instinct and your gut that's based off of experience. You're going to build up experience as much as you can. Make sure you're being a student of life so that you're learning, and when those storms hit, you know how to navigate them better. I would have never been able to navigate that storm had it been something that I had not practiced from being a young man and going out and braving very rough seas in very small boats, and being able to learn and adapt and develop those skills over time. So you don't just jump into crazy things right off the bat, but you do have to challenge yourself a bit at a time to learn. And something that we can take from dealing with challenges, and something that may help with not get so depressed or down or scared or nervous, is that we will come out on the other side of that being stronger, more intelligent, right? They say smooth seas don't make for experienced captains, and that's a great analogy for life. If you've never dealt with anything in your life, if you have not had hardships and challenges and storms, then you're not going to be a person who's very useful or has a great amount of experience just because you haven't done much, right? If you want success and if you want to do things, then you have to understand that storms come with the territory. There's no easy button in life, and the knowing how to weather storms is how people are successful. Knowing how to navigate storms is how people are successful. So we talk about how the radar, right, planning and everything like that comes with knowledge and developing. I myself, I have a cheat code as a follower of Christ. I'm a follower of Christ. A lot of you guys know that. And I have a cheat code because I know that I'm either going to be successful or I'm going to pass on worst case scenario. If I die, then I pass on to the next world, and that's not a bad thing for me. So I don't have that fear of death, and I know that the victory has been given to me already. So I like I said, I have a cheat code. Not everybody watching this video is going to be a Christian, and for you guys that aren't Christians, you may not have it clear in your mind of what's going to happen if you don't make it, but this still applies to everybody, and you still can learn from this video whether you're a Christian or not. There's a lot of common sense stuff that goes along with weathering storms and navigating storms that unfortunately isn't common anymore. So sense is no longer common in the United States. But things that should be common sense are things like don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be too proud to ask for help. I saw when I was out, there was a couple people that probably had some issues, and I saw CETO and stuff like that. Assistance vessels were out in great force because some people probably didn't know how to check the radar, and then the storms got really rough and they didn't know where to go or how to navigate with zero visibility and things of that nature. So it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to, if you have to radio in, if you have to call somebody, those things are okay. And in life, how does that apply? Well, if you have to ask a friend, it's okay. If you have to seek out professional help, that's okay. We have a big problem, I think, as men, admitting that something is bigger or powerful, more powerful than us. And like I say, my cheat code is knowing that I can't do everything, right? But we all need to have that knowledge that we're not all powerful and we're not all knowing. So if I'm on what I believe is God's path for my life, then I can call on God's help to help me and be on that path and have faith in that. You guys watching this video that are not Christians, you're going to have to rely on something. And if you're relying on yourself only, you better be dang squared away, because life is much tougher than anybody I've ever met. And we've had all kinds of issues. You know me personally, you guys probably know my story, and you know that I've been through more than most, and I've survived things that, you know, I shouldn't have. I attribute my success to the Lord Jesus Christ saving me and for God having a plan for my life. But for those of you that don't, you can still navigate, right? You don't have to have superpowers to drive a boat. You don't have to have superpowers to navigate life. These little nuggets of knowledge that I'm sharing, that's kind of the most important thing. So I know everybody's going through something right now. When you get that phone call, don't react to your natural instinct. Trust your gut, not your first instinct. Trusting our first instinct is why we get upset and get in a fight, or why we get angry and do something foolish, why we run away from problems instead of finding the courage to confront them. Because every problem looks really big. It looks really big. And it would be easy for somebody else with a little bit of a different perspective to say, no, there's a way out. So the first thing that you have to do is just to hold fast. You have to grab a hold of whatever you have that you can grab hold of that can give you faith that you're going to get through that. And don't panic. Seek out the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge to successfully get out of the situation that you're in and navigate the storm that you're in, you can seek out the knowledge, right? When I was in that storm, I knew better than to try and film video once I had to do everything that I could do to hold on to the boat to not go overboard. That's how bad the storm got. And I could have panicked, but I didn't. I also could have gone the other way and tried to pull out my phone and make a cool video. Me and my phone would have went over, and I would have lost my phone, because then I would have had to swim back to the boat in pretty nasty conditions. So, you know, you guys in life, you probably can get out your phone and call a person. That's a huge blessing. You're lucky that you can do that when life really hits. And I've been in situations, and that's why it's great to have. That's why it's important also to surround yourself with good people. You can do that now before the storm hits. Cut off the people that are absolutely negative and not helping you in any way, that don't have good advice, that are getting you into trouble. Cut those people off, because they're going to drag you down. And I'll finish out this video with one last tip for navigating and surviving storms. A lot of people are weighed down by a lot of excess in their lives. And you want to be agile and nimble to be able to navigate a storm. Sailors will often, or have throughout history, often tossed overboard things. First, they toss overboard the things they don't think they're going to need that much, and then things that weigh a lot. Then they start tossing all the way up to, if they have to toss gold or whatever that has extreme value, you got to toss it. Well, you may think that you don't want to get rid of some things that you have in your life. But what are things in your life that are not helping you? It could be drugs or alcohol, addictions. It could be unhealthy pastimes. It could be watching too much TV and just bringing a bunch of bunk into your mind. It could be that other YouTube channel that you're watching that is fearmonger and creating oh, we've got to make a civil war in America. And, you know, every day you're getting told that there's a nuclear submarine in, you know, off the coast of Florida, and then Russia just sent this bomb disguised as a pigeon to New York, and China is sending weather balloon spy ships all over the US, and all of the, you know, everybody has something different, but that's taking away from your life. That's taking away from your ability to navigate storms. And you got to figure out what that is that you got to get rid of. It could be a relationship. It could be a source of information in your life that's wrong. It could be a vice or a habit that you're doing that's not good for you. Try to get rid of that. Throw it overboard, get rid of that. Fill the voids that creates with some good stuff, healthy hobbies, good friends, good people. Get involved with a local church. If you're not wanting to get involved with a local church, then whatever it is, local sport group that, classes at gyms, you can figure it out, guys. You can do this. I have faith in you. And this is how you can navigate life's challenges. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this helps you to get out of the storm that you're going through, and more so to be prepared, learn every day, and be prepared for those storms that you're going to go to in the future. Thanks for watching. Bone out.